If you've been watching all my videos from the past couple of weeks, you remember that I've been calling your attention to the fact that price is going to come into 105.667, and right now price is trading at that level. So this is a level we want to keep tabs on. Anything can happen from this level. We can either break above that level and keep trading all the way to the upside, or we'll see an initial pullback into this area, something like this, before we continue higher. So I'm looking for two things at this moment: either for price to break above, give it a retest and continue higher, or pull back from here, come back to retest this zone, right? This zone, before we go back higher. So just keep an eye on that come next week, all right? But don't get it twisted. Overall, I am bullish. We've been pretty much bullish throughout the month, and we are approaching the end of the month, right? So we could see that pullback happen towards the end of the month, so that when you see that happening, you don't get confused. Remember, if the dollar index is bullish, that means EURUSD is going to sell, GBPUSD is going to sell, AUDUSD is expected to sell, NZDUSD is expected to sell. What I simply mean is we're supposed to see a stronger dollar across board, all right? And if dollar index falls, then we are going to see a weak dollar across board, all right? This is the DXY with TVC. TVC is the name of the broker. So let's take a look at the other dollar index that I actually look at. What I've noticed looking at this $2 index, this is the Dow Jones dollar index, by the way, and the broker is FXCM. Now, what I've noticed amongst these two different dollar index is the other one with TVC aligns perfectly with the EURUSD, and this one, the FXCM Dow Jones dollar index, actually aligns perfectly with GBPUSD. Just go to the daily time frame and compare the daily candlesticks of the Dow Jones dollar index and that of GBPUSD and EURUSD to see what I'm talking about, and then compare the one with TVC, the DXY with TVC, with Euro and GBPUSD. Then you will understand better what I'm talking about. Anyways, this particular dollar index looks to have created a new higher high here, breaking above this market structure. So before I expect any pullback on this dollar index, I'll be expecting price to pull into this region here, this price region here, then before giving us a pullback into this area before we blast all the way to the upside. Don't worry about targets for now. I'll show you targets next week, but all the way up. All the way up. US dollar, I am all the way up on this pair at the moment, all right? So for next week, I would like to see this guy keep pushing to 13147 before we see a pullback into 130.76 region, then before blasting higher into 13274, all right? Regardless of the pullback, overall I am bullish on the dollar index. Now let's go to GBPUSD. Let's see what's happening on GBPUSD. GBPUSD has been falling like super crazy. Remember, I called your attention to this ever since price was around here. I called your attention to the fact that on the daily time frame we have a head and shoulders pattern, and I'm expecting a complete drop on this pair. This is the daily time frame. Let's quickly take a look at the weekly time frame. See how bearish the weekly time frame is. As a matter of fact, we've experienced a change in market structure on the weekly time frame, right? We've seen this earlier on the daily time frame and on the lower time frames, but on the weekly time frame, we've just also confirmed that we are in a serious bearish trend. Look at the previous low created here, right? On its way up, price was creating higher highs and higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, and now we've created a new lower low here. This is lower than this, right? So at some point, I would like to see this before we continue even lower. If we go to the daily time frame, you are going to see things more clearly. Let's go to the daily time frame. Let's go back to the daily time frame. So yeah, like I said, I called your attention to this head and shoulders pattern on the daily time frame. It's a big deal, right, when you see these chart patterns on a higher time frame. And obviously price has played out perfectly. We've been creating new lows. We've broken below this low previously, and now we've taken out this low again, right? So going forward, I'll be expecting price to come into this rectangle region here, right, before we see a pullback into here, this region here, or if we have a trend line on the lower time frames, right? So I'll be expecting a pullback into this region here before we continue lower. However, there's a section I would like to call your attention to, a section that we don't want to overlook, which is this big bolded section down below. This is a monthly zone. If I take you back to the monthly time frame, you will see that zone properly. This is the zone I am talking about. Let me highlight it so that you see this is the zone I'm talking about. It has been tested multiple times, so I won't be surprised if price comes back into this zone and we see an initial rejection. So these are things we should put into consideration. However, if we eventually take out that zone, then our next target will be here, which is 1.11684, 1.11684. So I would like to see price drop into that zone. So back to the daily time frame, like I said, this is the target, this is the zone I'm expecting price to come into before we see a pullback and then the next drop. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, I've been super bearish on this pair. If you've been watching the videos, I've been calling your attention to this. Initially, price was around here. I told you that particular week that price was going to pull back into here before the next drop. Remember my lazy man strategy, right? Which is the swing strategy. It's a good strategy that you just go into and you are relaxed. Your stop loss is where it needs to be. There's enough room for price to move around before it goes in your direction and all of that. All it requires is patience. Sometimes when you trade like this particular strategy, this swing strategy, you could be in a trade and for a whole week you are floating around your red zone, which is your stop loss zone. Of course, the stop loss in most cases won't get hit, but price will just play around that stop loss region before going into your green zones, right? So yeah, I got into the trade and price played around my red zone for a bit before it started falling, right? So along the way, I knew that price was always going to drop into the zone. Now check this out. Let me briefly show you how to scale into your profitable trades, right? And maximize profit. Now what I did, there's a zone that is not even here. Let me show you that zone. There was another trade I placed here. My stop loss was here. My take profit was the same area. Watch how all my take profits are at the same area. Now I entered the first trade, right? My target is 3.45. Now you may think that this looks small and all of that, but along the way I scaled into the trade and there's a way I maximize my profit when I do this. Stick with me, I'm going to show you in a bit. Now let's keep this. Let me even record this. I'm sorry, this is not part of the analysis, but I don't know who this information may help. That's the first entry was 3.45. Then I scaled into that position again, and the next reward is 2.89. And then again, as price transition, I saw this head and shoulders pattern, and I knew that once price break below it, I'm getting into the trade. So I scaled in again when price broke into it, and this time my risk to reward was 3.69. okay, and then I added another position after the retest happened of that, the retest of the head and shoulders pattern. I added another position. This was where I entered. See the entry here, the stop loss, see how far away it is, right? And this particular target, this particular risk to reward is 2.39. Now check this out. Let's add up all this. Let me pull up my calculator and add up all these positions, right? So here we have 3.45 plus 2.89 plus 3.69 plus 2.39. This is my overall profit target, right? 12.42. Now I want you to remember something. I risk 3% per trade, so this is 12% times 3 that I risk per trade, right? So this will be multiplied by 3. 37% on my accounts for this month alone, because I scaled into this trade on the 1st of September. The first position was taken on Friday, the 1st of September, when this particular candlestick closed, right? And I risked 3% per trade. Now this is 37.26%. So what you saw as small is actually huge, because This is a strategy that I've traded over and over again, and because I know that the chances of my stop loss getting hit is very, very small, so I scale in heavy, which means I risk 3% per trade. Now tell me, how many traders do you know that has made 37% this month so far? Tell me. I guess a few, right? So this is how I traded this. I'm not going to show you that particular account when I did this, but I'm just going to show you one of the trades on the smaller accounts, right? On this particular trade, I risked the same 3%. Is a smaller account than the major investment account. This particular account, I built the account using my proceeds from the prop firm account, right? Well, I've talked too much. Let me just skip all of that, and I hope that little information right there is going to help one or two traders, right? So let me just go ahead and delete all this stuffs. All right, let's have a clean chat. I forgot to add this when I was recording the video. Let me just quickly put this out here. So many people they've been in my DM requesting me to run a signal service for trading, for swing trading in particular, and all of that. So the signal service for swing trading alone, please take note, for swing trading alone, not for prop firms, is starting next month. So just send a DM to me on the WhatsApp link that is going to be in the description of this video down below, or join our Telegram channel where I'll be posting that update, all right, and the price and all of that. So come next week, guys, if we fall into this zone and price starts pulling back, where will I be expecting that pullback to come into? Remember, I said I'll be expecting that pullback to come into this zone here. When I was on the daily time frame, I said I'll be expecting a pullback to come into this zone here. That is one. I'll also be looking at a confluence at this trend line. I'll put this trend line here. So I'll be looking for a confluence at this trend line. So let's say price drops into here, right, which is what I'll be expecting for the start of next week, for price to hit my target. Then I'll be expecting a pullback right into here before we fall back down again. All right, so this is what I'll be expecting to see next week: an initial drop into here and then a pullback. All right, I'll be expecting that pullback next week, right? So if we fall into here, a pullback into this trend line that confluences with 1.23198 region, and then will fall to the downside. All right. Of course, when price is pulling back into this zone, if you don't want to execute on the 4-hour time frame because of the large stop loss size, you could scale to the 15 minutes time frame. Okay, you could scale to the 15 minutes time frame, you could scale to the 30 minutes time frame to get an earlier entry and a tighter stop loss. That is how I jump into my trades on my prop firm account, because of course I can't use a white. So sorry, I received a call. I've forgotten what I was saying. So you can't use a white stop loss. You can't use a white stop loss on a prop firm account, right? So once price is approaching your zone, then you want to scale to the lower time frame, maybe like the 15 minutes time frame or the 30 minutes time frame, to catch an earlier entry and maximize profit all the way to the downside. This is what I do. All right, so this is my analysis on GBPUSD for next week in a nutshell. Let's take a look at EURUSD next. EURUSD, let's go to the daily time frame, or let's start from the weekly time frame. You can see for the past 2 weeks now, I want you to notice something. For the past 2 weeks, last week I told you this was my target. Initially, this was my target, but when we achieved that, I readjusted my target to 1.06335 in my last 2 weeks video, right? And you will notice that price for the past 2 weeks is respecting that green zone. However, last week I also called your attention to the fact that we've created a new lower low, not significantly, because as a matter of fact, price is still trading at the wick of this zone. So we've not properly on the weekly time frame on EURUSD created a new lower low, right? The price is taking its time around this zone. That could be a sign. Remember, GBPUSD is also approaching a strong zone, so I guess they might most likely go for that pullback together. Now let's go to the daily time frame. Forget about these two trend lines you see here. I actually didn't plot them on the daily time frame. I plotted them on the lower time frame, which is the 4-hour time frame. So we are going to look at that trend line on the lower time frame. I just want to point out the fact that price is still respecting this zone, just like we saw on the weekly time frame, right? And this may be the double bottom for that pullback to happen. That is a possibility. However, I want to call your attention to this. However, if we have a daily candlestick close below this zone, guys, disregard that pullback I'm talking about and start looking at the possibility of this, then a retest, then it is inside here you want to catch a trade with your stop loss here and your take profit at our next level, which is 1.05368. all right, that is if that pullback fails to happen. If we have a daily candlestick close below here, then go to the lower time frame and look for that pullback into the same area, then look for your entry strategy. I have my own entry strategy which I have taught in my program, in my course, right? So I will execute with that. Now let's go to the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, remember I talked about the possibility of a pullback from this current region here. However, if we see a daily candlestick close here, then we want to scale back to the lower time frame, look for a pullback and trade into this region here. However, if we see that pullback, if that pullback starts to happen next week, which is what I am actually expecting, because throughout last week we just traded sideways. There was a blast up, there was a blast down. They will fail to break below here, right? And buyers lacked the momentum to significantly push price higher. So going into next week, guys, I'll be expecting a pullback into one of these trend lines, right? My most preferable pullback, I want it to be at this black trend line. I have two of these trend lines here. One is capturing here, here, here. So I'll be expecting a fourth one here. All right, so something like this before we continue down. The next wave is going to bring us to 1.05368 region. All right, so you see that's a massive move, especially if you catch this on probably the 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes time frame, right? Then my second trend line, which is represented with the red trend line, is capturing here, here, and around this zone. So what can you notice? You see the next touch to either of these two trend lines is happening around this area here, around this zone, right? So that would be a good zone to catch the bearish trend continuation. Let's see if there's a confluence with the Fibonacci retracement level. Okay, that area perfectly aligns with the 0.5 fib level. Can you see that? So the 0.5 fib level, after capturing the top to the bottom, I don't know if you've studied Fibonacci retracement level. I think I've not really made a video on that on YouTube. I'm going to do a video on how to trade using Fibonacci retracement levels. All right, so yeah, from the top to the bottom, 0.5 fib level is the level we should be looking at. Worst case scenario, 0.6 fib level, but 0.5 fib level is aligned perfectly to my favorite zone. So 0.5 fib level is the area I'll be hoping to catch the end of this pullback should that pullback happens. All right, I think that is EURUSD in a nutshell. Let's check out AUDUSD. But before we continue, if you've made it this far, guys, do us one solid, like this video and subscribe, very important. And before I also continue, guys, I almost forgot, thank you for 1,000 subscribers. We are finally at 1,000 subscribers. It took us quite some time to get here, but we are here, right? And that's all that matters, and it is because of you guys, and I really appreciate you guys. Anyways, let's get back to the video. Last week, I don't like what AUDUSD is doing. As a matter of fact, AUDUSD has been ranging. I don't even know what it has in mind to do. I don't know AUDUSD's plan. I'm currently in this trade, as a matter of fact, swinging it. All right, so just like what I did on GBPUSD, my plan is getting into this trade. My stop loss is here. Then I'm going to scale into the trade again after we take out this counter trend line and this support level. So if we take it out and I see my entry strategy again, I'm going to add more position. But you know what? Price blasted down, went back to my stop loss region, and right now is trading around my red. I'm risking 3% on this trade at the moment, but I'm just in around, I'm floating around $100 in profit. That's the screenshot on your screen right there. It's annoying, right? I may just close this position, especially now that I'm seeing signs of reversal on EURUSD and GBPUSD. I may just close this position next week and then maybe sell above here again if I see a good entry strategy. But price has been ranging sideways. I don't know what's going on. However, last month we closed with a bearish momentum. Let me even call your attention to something. You may be wondering why AUDUSD is refusing to fall, to drop. Guys, it's simply because of here on the monthly time frame. It's because of 0.63984. Now you may be wondering why. There's a wick down below. See, the way price moves is, oh, those on my program will understand this better. And I'm sorry, guys, I won't go into every little details, but you will notice that price is respecting this zone. This is the okay, now if you look here, most recently when price dropped into here, you can see the body of this candle stopped here, then a wick poked below, right? Then even this dodgy candle, you can see that the body stopped around here, even though a wick poked below. Then on this bullish candle, there was an initial bearish push, right? And again, price pushed higher. So what can you notice between amongst these three candles here, this bearish, and this bullish candle? Their bodies happened at a particular price area, even though what they had below was just a wick, right? No wonder price is respecting this zone. Last month, price poked below it, but went back up, and you can see the body of this candle aligning with these ones here, this previous two, and then there was another poke below, and there's a rejection, guys. So that's on the monthly time frame area is what is preventing AUDUSD from falling the way it should. Now let's go to the weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame, you can see that monthly zone I just put there, that monthly line I just put there. Price came to that zone and has been moving sideways for how many weeks now? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. That's way over a month. Price has been moving sideways below this zone. I don't like this. I don't like this. So I will just close down my position when market opens next week, or I may still decide to just leave it because it's a risk. I just made 37% on GBPUSD, so I can afford to take that risk. So I could just even leave it, but I won't even lie to you. I'm beginning to question that trade. So don't say because I'm trading around my entry, you want to risk it, except maybe you are already also floating in profit, right? But that's a loss I'm willing to take because my stop loss is at a decent zone, right? And I can afford to wait for 1 week for price to get into my take profit area. I don't care, right? So AUDUSD, guys, I don't have anything interesting to tell you right now. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. I think the valid zone I'm still looking at right now is for price to pull back into the zone, maybe give us a double top, right? And if I see my bearish entry strategy here play out, I'm going to sell from there, right? However, if you are not in this trade and price fails to go up higher here to give you an entry, then guys, just wait for price to break below this support. Wait for price to break this below this support. If price breaks below this support, gives it a retest, then you can now sell to the downside. If price breaks and is going back for that retest, go to your lower time frame so that you catch an earlier entry if you are trading prop firms. But if you are swinging, I could even execute on the 4-hour time frame with a good place for my stop loss, as long as the reward is higher than the risk. All right, I'll take the trade. All right, so my target still remains 0.62000 on AUD USD. Let's go to USDJPY. USDJPY, you know the drill. Since last a couple of weeks, even though price moved sideways for a bit, 148.617 has been my target, and I think I'm satisfied with my profit. Next week I'm going to close the positions I have on this trade. Remember, we are expecting a pullback anytime soon from the dollar index, so that may impact the USDJPY. However, if we do break above this current region, which is 148, is it 148.617, then our next target would be this zone above, right, which is 150.118. So if we break and close above here, then guys, on the smaller time frames, you may still want to exploit this 150.118 area. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. So like I said, we're approaching our target. Last week, if you watched last week's video, I called your attention to how I scaled into USDJPY. Also, I've been in this trade since the 14th of July, yeah, 14th of July, and I told you I can't show you that account because that one is my major investment account. There are some funds there. I don't like showing that account. It's pointless. All right. In fact, I usually don't even show my profit for the past couple of months now, if you may have noticed, but I see people like to see that thing and see those profits and how I did it. Not just the profit, how I did it. They tend to learn from it. So that is why I even started bringing it back these days. All right, and usually back then I used to talk more on prop firms, not even swing accounts, but right now talking about swing accounts more, like I said, because it's going to help one or two out there. So I've been in this trade and I scaled in, though I lose some, like for instance, I lost this and I won most of them on its way up, right? So this is how to scale into trades if you are swing trading. So anyways, I don't have much to say on USDJPY now that price is trading at my target. All right, so maybe next week I'll have something to tell you guys. So I still have some on my list. I'm going to be sharing those other informations on the Telegram channel. I'm going to be dropping analysis on US30, USD CHF, and gold on the Telegram channel. The link is to the Telegram channel will be in the description of this video down below. So guys, this video is already too lengthy. Permit me to stop here for the week. I hope you've been able to learn one or two things in this video, and if you want to learn more, if you actually want to know how to trade professionally and profitably, you want to enroll in our mentorship program. The link is in the description of this video down below. And again, if you are not interested in enrolling in any of our programs, that's totally fine too. Make sure you watch our videos and you are subscribed to this channel, and I wish you a successful trading week, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.